54. That is the number I want you to hold in your head for the next few minutes, because while an entire city loses its mind over a crowd, 54 is the number that actually decides whether Alex Yala lifts a trophy in New York. You have seen the footage by now. You have seen the security guards forming a wall around a 21-year-old as she walks the grounds at Flushing Meadows. Phones in the air, Philippine flags in the stands, a wave of people who followed her across an ocean just to watch her practice. The story everyone is telling is that New York belongs to Alex Eala now, and I understand why. It is a beautiful story. It is also, I think, the wrong one. Here is my read, and I want to be honest that I have gone back and forth on it. The crowd did not win Alex Yala anything. The crowd is the symptom. The thing that could actually win her this tournament is the thing everybody spent the last 3 weeks mourning: 2 losses. The 2 results that made people wonder if she was fading at exactly the wrong moment. I am going to argue that those 2 losses are the reason a body 54 matches deep into a season has anything left at all. Let me tell you exactly where I am taking you. First, I am going to talk about the crowd because it is real and it is extraordinary, and because I think it is far more fragile as an advantage than anyone is admitting. That is the easy part. Second, and this is the argument I actually built this video for, I am going to show you how losing in Toronto and losing in Cincinnati quietly handed her the one thing money and fans cannot buy. And third, the detail almost nobody is doing the math on: the seeding, and what her ranking really buys her when the draw comes out. And because I refuse to sell you a clean story, I am going to give you the honest case against all of it before we finish. So let me say the hard part now, up front, where you can see it. Alex Eala has never gone past the 4th round of a Grand Slam. Her record this year is 36 wins and 18 losses, which means she has lost 18 times this season. She walked into Toronto and lost to Belinda Bencic, a former Olympic champion playing some of the best tennis of her career. She walked into Cincinnati and went out in the 3rd round. If you want to build the case that this is a lovely story with a hard ceiling, the numbers are right there. I am not going to hide them. I am going to try to beat them. So let me rebuild what actually happened, because the timeline matters far more than the headline. Start on grass, because that is where this run really began. At Wimbledon this summer, Alex Eala reached the 4th round of a Grand Slam for the first time in her career. That was the breakthrough. That was the result that told the tour this was not a one-tournament story. Hold on to that number, the 4th round, because I am going to come back to what it really means. But not yet. Now go to Washington, the DC Open. Before New York, before the flags at Flushing Meadows, Alex Eala walked into Washington and did something no Filipina had ever done. She won a tour-level singles title, and she did not do it through a soft draw. Watch the names fall. She beats Zheng Qinwen. She beats Leylah Fernandez. She beats Alina Svitolina. She beats Naomi Osaka, a 4-time Grand Slam champion. And then in the final, she runs into Jessica Pegula, and she loses the first set 6-4. And a younger version of this player loses that match right there. She does not. She wins the 2nd set 6-4. And then she wins the 3rd set 6-love. 6-love. In a final. That is not a fan favorite being carried by a crowd. That is a player solving a problem in real time against one of the best on earth. Then comes the swing that everyone remembers wrong. Toronto, the Canadian Open. She reaches the 4th round, and on the 9th of August, she loses to Belinda Bencic. A week later, Cincinnati, and she is gone in the 3rd round. 2 tournaments, 2 exits earlier than the hype wanted, and the mood shifts. The whispers start. Is she tired? Is it too much too soon? Has the moment finally gotten too big for her? Which brings me to the foundation of this entire video, and I need you to sit with this one because everything else is built on top of it. 54 matches. That is how many singles matches Alex Eala has played in 2026. 36 wins, 18 losses, and 22 of those wins on hard court, the exact surface under her feet in New York. I want you to understand what 54 means inside a body. Every match is tread coming off a tire. Every match is a withdrawal from an account nobody gets to refill in the middle of a season. And if you are getting value from me actually doing this math instead of just replaying the crowd footage for you, subscribe, because I am breaking down every single round of this Open exactly like this. 54 matches. Hold that number. Now let me give you the easy argument, the one every commentator on every broadcast is going to reach for this week. The crowd is her superpower. And look, there is truth in it. When Alex Eala plays, the stands fill with people from Little Manila in Queens, home to one of the largest Filipino communities in the city, and the noise is genuinely something most other players simply do not have. A home crowd in a city thousands of miles from home. It lifts you on a big point. It drags you back from the edge of a set. It is real. That is the easy argument. That is the argument everyone will make. It is true and it is shallow. And if that was all I had for you, I would not have made this video. Because here is the problem with the crowd as an explanation. Crowds do not win tie breaks. Crowds do not return a second serve. A wall of security guards around you is not actually an advantage. It is a signal of how much pressure has landed on a 21-year-old who is also, this same week, playing mixed doubles with Felix Auger-Aliassime, the world number 4, appearing at exhibitions, and selling out Nike stock faster than Carlos Alcaraz. The crowd is not lifting the load off her shoulders. The crowd is part of the load. So if the crowd is not the real edge, then what is? This is the part I need you to sit with because it is the foundation of everything that follows. The 2 losses. I think the 2 losses are the best thing that happened to her all month, and I think almost nobody has been willing to say it out loud. Watch the logic with me. A player 54 matches into a season is running on fumes. By definition, the single scarcest resource she has walking into a Grand Slam is not form. It is not confidence. It is rest. And a Grand Slam is not one match. It is potentially 7 matches over 2 weeks against opponents who get harder every single round. First question, what does a deep run in Toronto cost her? Days on the tread. Second question, what does a deep run in Cincinnati cost her? More days and more matches on that same worn tire. Third question, and this is the hard one. What did losing early in both of them give her instead? It gave her the one thing she could not otherwise buy. It gave her a week she was never scheduled to have. Read that back. The results that looked like decline were in the coldest physical accounting, recovery. She did not choose them. Nobody chooses to lose. But the schedule that looked like it was breaking her actually protected her because the losses arrived before the matches that would have cost the most. I have gone back and forth on how hard to push this, and I am not going to pretend a loss is secretly a win. But I will say this, if she goes deep in New York, we are going to look back on Toronto and Cincinnati not as the moment she faltered, but as the moment the season finally stopped draining her. So that is the theory. Now let me show you the evidence that says it is not just a theory. Evidence 1, the system proof. This is a player who has already demonstrated this very season that she can win 5 quality matches in a row against elite opposition. That is exactly what Washington was. Zhang, Fernandez, Svitolina, Osaka, and a set taken off Pegula in the final. You do not string that together by accident, and you do not do it if the wheels are genuinely coming off. She has already shown you the ceiling. The only question left is whether she can hold it across 7 matches. Evidence 2, the differentials, the numbers underneath the numbers. 36 and 18 overall, 22 and 9 on hard court. Translate that last one. On the exact surface she is about to play 7 potential matches on, she is winning better than 7 of every 10 times she walks out there. That is not a clay specialist wandering into the wrong tournament. That is her best surface at the biggest event at the peak of her career. And then the comebacks, because the comebacks are the real tell. Down a set to Jessica Pegula in the DC final, she wins in 3. And go back exactly 1 year to this same tournament in 2025 when she was ranked 75th in the world and had never won a Grand Slam main draw match in her life. She walks onto the court against Clara Tauson, the 14th ranked player in the world, and she goes down 5 games to 1 in the 3rd set. 5-1. That match is over for almost anybody alive, and she wins it. 7-6, 13 points to 11 in the final breaker. The first Filipina ever to win a main draw match at a major in the Open era. A player who wins from 5-1 down in a deciding set does not fold because she is tired. She has a different gear. That is the evidence. Evidence 3, the tier nobody ever puts in this column, the commercial noise. The sold-out Nike shirt, the dress moving off the shelves before Alcaraz and before Sabalenka, the flags, the crowds. Everyone files that under distraction or under hype. I file it under proof of something else entirely. That kind of backing does not create a champion, but it tells you the sport itself has already decided she is one, and the market is not usually wrong about who arrives. Now here is the detail I deliberately held back because it is the quiet one and it deserves its own moment. The seeding. Alex Eala enters entered this tournament ranked around 29th in the world. She is now sitting at a career high of world number 20. That is not a vanity number. In a Grand Slam draw, being seeded means you are protected from the other seeds through the early rounds. It means the draw, revealed on the 27th, cannot hand her a top 10 opponent in the first round. No seed, no protection, no cushion, no soft opener. She has all four of those things now. The fresher body I just walked you through gets paired with the gentlest possible door the format will allow her to walk through. You do not get to design a run like that. The schedule designed it for her by accident. That is the part almost nobody is doing the math on. Now, I promised you the honest case against, and I keep my promises. So here it is, at full strength. Belinda Bencic beat her fair and square in Toronto, and Bencic is an Olympic gold medalist playing beautiful tennis right now. Eala went out in the third round in Cincinnati, and you cannot spin a third-round exit into a triumph. Her best result at any Grand Slam ever is a single fourth round. Not a semifinal, not a final, a fourth round. And a best-of-3 swing is one thing, but the physical grind of 7 potential matches at a major is the exact wall she has not yet climbed. If you want to tell me this run ends in the second week and not in the final, the numbers are on your side, and I am not going to insult you by pretending they are not. So let me land this honestly. The consensus got the emotion right. The crowd is real, the rise is real, and the love in those stands is one of the best things in tennis right now. That part stays true, but the crowd did not build this. What built this was a title in Washington through 4 elite players, a body that 2 accidental weeks of rest may have quietly saved, a comeback year that shows up when she is down 5-1, and a seeding that finally protects her when the draw lands. The 2 losses did not flip her from contender to favorite. They did not flip it. They narrowed it. They bought back the one thing that 54 matches had taken away from her. And zoom out for a second, because this is so much bigger than one tournament. 1 year ago, she was ranked 75th and had never won a single match at a major. She is now 20 in the world, the first Filipina ever to win a tour title. The reason a country that never followed tennis now fills a stadium in Queens. That arc does not get undone by one result in New York, whatever that result turns out to be. So here is my read, and I could be completely wrong, and I will come back and own it if I am. I think Alex Eala reaches the second week of this US Open, the round of 16 at the very least. I am putting that on the record right now, and the moment that draw drops on the 27th, I am breaking down her exact path in the next video, so you know whether I was right before she even steps on the court. 54 matches got her here running on fumes. The one question I cannot answer yet is the only one that actually matters. Did those 2 losses give her just enough back to go the distance? Or did they only delay the moment the tank finally hits empty? What do you think? Tell me below.